Hey everybody, thanks for tuning in. I'm George Conley with Scratch Golf Tips, and today we're going to be talking about 3 steps that you can take with your irons to hit your shot trajectories much higher. Now, I've had the privilege to play a lot of golf with a lot of very good golfers. I've also watched a lot of PGA and LPGA Tour professionals in person, and a huge commonality that I see in their approach game is how unbelievably high they hit their approach shots. Obviously, not every single approach shot goes way in the air. Sometimes you'll need to hit it a little bit lower or a mid-flight, but the majority of these approach shots, they will hit very high, and that allows them to land the ball into the green much easier, which gives them more control over their landing point, some of their spin, and it takes a lot of complication out of the guesswork in approach shots. Now let's start off by talking about ball position. This is the simplest thing that you can always do in your golf swing to have some type of influence on the trajectory of your golf ball. Wherever you normally have your 7-iron, if you just put that ball 1 or 2 balls forward in your stance, you are going to get a little bit of a higher ball flight. It's the same thing if you want to hit the ball a little bit lower. You can put the ball just a few balls back in your stance. That's a very easy way to go about changing your trajectory. However, it should be noted that if you are putting that ball position a little bit forward, you need to be very conscious and you have to make an intentional swing at that new ball position. What I mean by that is, if the ball is a few inches forward and you're not really thinking and you hit the same exact swing as you would with any other 7-iron, you're likely going to hit the ball thin because your low point control is used to that previous normal ball position, meaning that the bottom edge of the club is going to bottom out where the ball normally is, and on its way up, it's actually going to make contact with the new ball position, meaning you're going to hit the leading edge and miss it thin. So you need to be intentional about you really focus in on your low point control when moving that ball forward in your stance. Now, another thing that I really like to do is have a little bit less shoulder tilt downward and weight on the front foot. I will say this with caution, because whenever I talk about iron shots, I say get that shoulder a little bit down, feel that weight forward and go into the ball. And we're still going to be doing that. We're still going to be going into the ball with downward motion at the ball. It's just going to be less severe than a normal shot shape. What I mean by that is I like to feel that I'm almost coming up at the ball like a driver, but I'm not going as severe. So if I'm hitting an iron shot, I'll generally have my shoulders in this general direction. With a driver, I'll have them pointed up because of the angle of attack of a driver. And what I'll do is I'll just level it out a little bit if I want to hit an iron shot very high. Again, this is something that you absolutely need to practice on the golf course, because when I first started trying doing this, I was almost hitting all of my iron shots very thin because I was picking up on the ball. I was trying to scoop at it, and as you know, when you try and scoop at the ball, it rarely goes right. You won't see consistent contact. You won't get that ball high up. We still need to be hitting down into the ball, just not as severely as a standard golf flight. Finally, for me, one of the biggest keys in hitting these really high iron shots is a very full, complete swing that concludes in a high finish. What I mean by the high finish is if you've ever seen a player hit over trees or over some type of obstacle, you'll likely see them finish their swing really high, have their hands high, and it's a very full rotation. I find that swing feel and executing upon that swing feel helps a lot in getting that higher trajectory. It goes without saying that if you want to get the ball really high in the air, you need to put a good swing at the ball. So if you're getting a full turn back, you're shifting the weight a little bit less on that front foot than you normally would, and you have a very full explosive swing through, that ball is absolutely going to soar higher in the air than you would anticipate from a normal golf shot. So just to recap, we have putting the ball forward just a few balls in the stance. We have a little bit less weight and shoulder tilt on the front foot, but still maintaining your weight should be net positive on that front foot. Your shoulder tilt should be a little bit down, just not as much as normal. And then finally, a full swing resulting in a high finish. The height of your finish is often correlated to the height of your golf shot. If you see people hit a stinger golf shot, which goes very low, they'll have a very low finish. They'll stop around shoulder height, a mid finish up here, and then a high finish up there. So there's definitely some correlation between finish height and the height of your golf shot. Let me know if you're confident hitting the high golf shot. I know that it's something that I've worked on a lot on the range, and after some work, I don't turn to it all the time, but when I turn to it, it's generally a fairly successful endeavor. Obviously, it'll never go perfectly well, but if you want to implement these 3 tips, definitely spend some time on the range before taking your 7-iron out from 180 yards and swinging at it as hard as you can, so take your time with it. If you enjoyed this video, I would appreciate it very much if you left a like rating on it. It helps YouTube show this type of content to more people who will find it helpful. If you want to see more videos like this, we have a ton on our channel that you can already watch, and you can also subscribe to see some of our future uploads. And as always, thank you very much for watching, play well, and take care.